Okay guys, let's start with today's Hindi newspaper. I am giving you the list which article will substantiate which paper and which topic. Okay, for example, the article an atonement gone too far covers will cover GS2 paper topic structure, organization and functioning of executive and judiciary. Another article a case for mercy, it will also cover paper GS2 and topic the same like an atonement gone too far. Article time to abolish the maximum retail price, it will cover paper GS3 topic supply chain management marketing of agricultural produce and issues. Topic article good in principle tough in practice, paper GS2 topic government policies and intervention for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation. Article atonement gone too far. The article actually narrates the narrates the role of judiciary during the time of emergency. When emergency was imposed during the time of Indira Gandhi actually at that time throughout 42nd Amendment Act, during the time of emergency, Indira Gandhi government actually suspended the Article 21. Okay, and at that time actually human rights are very largely violated. But the article mentions that the judiciary had not been able to play a protective role at that time. When a person is detected under any law, the person actually lost his or her right to claim the validity of his arrest in the court. And the government says that the Article 21 is totally suspended. And one very error, as the article mentions, that Supreme Court also gave a judgment, which was very blunder actually in the court of Supreme Court. That Supreme Court also gave his judgment at that time that during the time of emergency a person will lose his or her claim or the person will lose his or her validity to claim in the court seeking the or justifying the causes of his or her arrest. Because the Article 21 was suspended at that time. But it was a very, the article mentions that it was a very error, the judgment was full of error, because the judicial power of the court is not based on Article 21. At that time actually judiciary had been failed to play the role of protective, play the protective role. It was a blur of Indian judiciary. But after that 44th Amendment, it was throughout 44th Amendment, Article 20, it was enacted, it was said that it was constitutionally amended that Article 21 will not be suspended during the time of emergency also. The flow chart that you have seen, it actually reflects the circumstances during the time of emergency in the Indira Gandhi government. Then emergency in freedom. A person is detected under MISA Act. A person cannot claim validity of his arrest in court because Article 21 is suspended. It was the scenario of before the amendment, before the 44th Amendment during the emergency in the time of Indira Gandhi government. Now this scenario has been changed. So the question arises, the most probable question that might arise from the article is to narrate the role of judiciary during the time of emergency. You have to prepare this answer in a very valid way. Okay. Another article, time to abolish maximum retail prices. The question might arise from the article is that narrate the issues related to the abolishment of maximum retail prices. Then first you have to give a 2-3 line introduction, then you have to make your answer balance. You have to give some points against the MRP, against the abolishment of MRP, and as well as also you have to give points some defending the retention of MRP, and after that a solution, and after that is you have to conclude your answer with a charting solution. Then in case of again MRP as discriminatory, in case of that MRP should be abolished, then what points you can give? Then retention of MRP, maximum retail prices, anti-competition. Anti-competition means why? It does not in a backward area. Actually, what happened? In a backward area, actually, for the MRP, for this printed MRP, the retail actually the retail sellers actually does not actually sell different some kind of commodities, because they have to bear some transportation cost while bringing these commodities into this backward area. But because of these printed prices, they cannot charge us extra prices from consumers, which they have to bear for their which they have to bear while transporting the commodities. That is why it is anti-competition. It prevents competition actually in this era of privatization. Okay, then another thing is that it is anti-growth. Why it is anti-growth? It's you say in a backward area, I mentioned then it prevents it prevents selling commodities. It prevents prevents selling of some commodities. Okay, why? Because the retail seller has to bear some transportation cost while bringing some commodities to sell in that particular area. But because of the printed price, he cannot charge us more from the consumers. So as a result of this, what happened? There is less competition, because because of the printed prices, the retail price, because of the printed prices, the retail seller has to occur loss. And as a result of this, what happened? The consumer had no choice at these places, and it prevents the retail prices from forming or from establishing more shops, or from establishing more from establishing doing business of those commodities. In this way, it is anti-competition, and as well as it is anti-growth. Because of this anti-competition nature, there is a less development in that place in case of those commodities, and it actually prevents the growth of this area. If there had been no MRP, maximum retail prices, then there had been the seller there is a chance that seller could gain, and for this gain there will be more sellers for those commodities. When there will be more seller at that places, there will be more business and economy growth at that area. There will be much more competition in that places. And it another causes is that discriminatory in the sense that at this moment actually manufacturer actually marks this MRP, manufacturer prints this MRP, then manufacturer prints this MRP for the sake of his gain. While the manufacturer will print this MRP, he will always keep in front of him the profit motive purposes. But while the right is given to manufacturer for profit motive purposes, the same right is deprived of the retailers. So the retailer cannot retailers had no right to make profit on these commodities, right? In this way, it is discriminatory. Then it is that it's archaic. It is a very old rule. In this era of privatization, this does not seem to be fit. Okay, and another reason is that more charges even after MRP, even while the printing there is a printing prices like MRP at this moment, but still we are giving some more prices for some commodities. For while we will bear mineral water, we have to bear more charges because of the preservation preservation in fridge. In this way, despite the retention of these prices, it is not that there is no fraud, or the consumers have to totally the retailers are totally adherent to this principle. It is not. And it is another thing is that it is applied to packaged commodities only. Except packaged commodities, there are different services which are outside the ambit of this MRP. Then you have to give some reasons actually while defending the retention of this MRP, and what reasons you can bring helpful to illiterate consumer. See, it is not possible for me to narrate each and every line. I have just pointed out the I have just marked or differentiated the points, and it is your duty to think and to analyze and to prepare 2 or 3 line notes against each point. While you have to while defending the retention of MRP, you can bring different points. Point 1, 1, helpful to illiterate consumer. Point 2, you have to bring the matter of consumer protection, you have to bring the issue of consumer protection. Point 3, provides uniform information. And point 4, black market. You have to give 1 or 2 lines against each point while defending the retention of MRP. After that 2 or 3 lines with solution, and after that conclusion with a certain solution. Again another article, a case for study, a case for mercy, a case for mercy. The probable question that might arise from the article is that critically, and do you think that the death penalty should be abolished? Critically analyze. First you have to give a 2 or 3 line introduction, then after that for a balanced answer you have to bring two-sided. You have to be both-sided, you have to give positive and negative points. You have to say that the death penalty should be abolished, and as well as you have to defend also defend also death penalty, bringing citing some reasons. Okay, then while you say that death penalty needs to be abolished, what probable points you can bring out? The legal inadequacy regarding the term rarest of rare. It is said that the death penalty should be provided only in the rarest of rare cases, but there is no provision, but there is no exact definition, or the term is very vague. Okay, what will be the rarest of rare case? Then another reason you can bring prolongation of mercy petition. The mercy petition has been prolonged for long years. Okay, that's why you have to relate that why it should be the cause for the abolishment of death penalty, because it actually caused the suffering of it also increases the suffering. It actually increases the suffering of the victim. It increases the mental trauma of the victim. Can it be the reason for the abolishment of death penalty? Okay, then in this way this prolonged process actually enhances the mental trauma and suffering of the victim. Then another reason, the judgmental error in providing the death sentences. From the recent phenomenon, from the very recent cases, it has been provided that especially the trial court has given a maximum number of death sentences to victims, and in most of the cases the judgment bears fundamental error, and in the most blunder is that in some cases actually where the judgment wrong judgment was given to victims, some were also executed. Some were executed also, and the same reason is applied to the High Court and Supreme Court also. The judgmental error in providing death sentences actually is a very serious threat, okay, because it is related to the life of a person. Another thing is that Indian philosophy. The Indian philosophy, India is a land of Buddha, okay, India is a land of Mahavir. Then in such cases actually, during keeping view of the origin and nature of Indian philosophy, okay, it is a land of Gandhi, that there might be it might be reconsidered to abolish the death sentences. Then again you have to give some points also defending the death penalty. I am not going to describe, just I have mentioned here. Inhuman crime, point 1, inhuman crime. Point 2, growing terrorism. Point 3, deterrent policy, and point 4, national security. You have to write 2 or 3 lines against each point why you think that death penalty should be retained. Then after that you have to give a solution and conclude the answer with a probable solution. Another article, good in principle, tough to practice. The most probable question that arises from this article is that what are the issues regarding the prohibition of what are the issues regarding the prohibition of liquor? Then first you have to give an introduction of 2-3 lines, then you have to make your answer balanced. You have to bring points defending the prohibition, and you have to give points also some against prohibition. Then while mentioning that liquor should be prohibited, prohibition of liquor, defend why the prohibition of liquor does not work. You can bring the mention the point that less corruption. Okay, then when liquor will be prohibited, the excise officers will be dealt with the liquor producers. Okay, there will be a nexus of the liquor producers and excise officers or police. In this way, there is a probability of increasing corruption, increasing black market. Okay, in that way if there is no prohibition of liquor, actually there is less human death. Okay, because there can be there an open, not open market, a regulated market of liquor actually is actually beneficial to the human health. Otherwise, what happen in case of black market, or in case of restriction, the producers will use any method to produce liquor. Okay, it might cause loss of human life. Then our economic defense of workers if liquor is prohibited. Okay, generally what happen, it is very difficult. Generally what happen, it is only the which liquor is generally prohibited. Generally liquor is prohibited which is generally locally produced. Okay, but whose price is generally less. But in case of in case of liquor which is generally foreign liquor, or which is actually bears much prices actually, okay, whose quality is high, those liquors actually generally can difficult to prohibit. Okay, in the case of prohibition of local liquor, the what happened, the workers actually who earn livelihood through daily wages, he will go to this kind of for expensive liquor. Okay, then it will cost his economic, it will cost from his economic point. Okay, because he already earned less money, and now he will turn to buy much more expensive liquor. So there is a matter of economic point of view also in this case. And another is financial loss, that the state will lose a huge financial revenue if the liquor is prohibited. Then another thing is that prohibition is necessary. Here you can bring different points, right, like crime, socio-economic aspect, health impact, adolescent issue. You have to bring, or you have to relate all these points while prohibition is necessary, while writing that prohibition of liquor is necessary. In this way, you have to give both, you have to be both sided, and you have to give be ambivalent. The liquor should be prohibited, why, and liquor should not be prohibited, why. Then after it, you have to conclude your answer with giving a certain solution.